Good, happy Thursday morning, December 10, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. First up, we're going to begin with COVID-19 updates. There are 1,006 new COVID-19 cases reported in New Hampshire, 4 additional deaths. There have been 27,592 known coronavirus cases since the beginning of the pandemic in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
One coming from Spawn.
Can't hear you, Zach.
Coming, eh? Can you not hear me?
Are you on mute?
New Hampshire adding another 1,000 cases to its coronavirus totals as health officials continue to whittle down a backlog of tests. Good evening, I'm Jean Mackin.
And I'm Mike Cherry. The 1,006 cases confirmed tonight are from the last 5 days of testing. New Hampshire has just over 6,500 active cases of COVID-19 tonight.
232 people are in the hospital. That is another record high, but the rate of hospitalizations is holding steady at 3%. 4 more deaths announced tonight. That brings the total number of fatalities to 570. All 4 of those deaths are associated with long-term care facilities.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your New Hampshire COVID information. New updates and data. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that information for all of you right now. There are 27,592 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 15,386,564 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 570 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 851 number of people have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 28,373 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. Now let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. In Manchester, 934 current cases of COVID-19. Let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 4834. And now let's take a look at these 3 charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple. Daily new positive COVID-19 cases. Orange, new hospitalization, and red deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple. Total current COVID-19 cases. And orange, current hospitalization. Let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple. Total positive COVID-19 cases. Orange, total hospitalization. Red deaths, and blue recovered. And let's take a look at this chart here, positive PCR test rate and daily PCR test. Let's take a look at this chart here, age group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. Let's take a look at this chart here, infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here, deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, difficult breathing, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Over last night, there was breaking news. New Hampshire State House Speaker Dick Hinch has died at the age of 71. Hinch had been newly elected as Speaker of the House. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
You should never judge a book by its cover or a gift by its gift box, because sometimes you'll pick up a gift that feels like another pair of socks from home.
The flags at the State House will soon be lowered to half-staff in honor of New Hampshire House Speaker Dick Hinch, who passed away suddenly on Wednesday. The news hit the state's large but closely knit political world like a shockwave. The new acting speaker, Representative Sherman Packard, spoke with News 9 and called Hinch's passing, quote, a true loss for the state of New Hampshire. A 7-term rep who rose quickly through the ranks of the House, Hinch had just claimed the Speaker's gavel a week ago after being nominated by his longtime political ally in his hometown of Merrimack, Representative Maureen Mooney.
He answers every inquiry, follows through on every task, takes the heat gracefully, works with everyone, and is always there for you.
It was an emotional moment as Hinch reached the pinnacle of the 400-member House, one of the largest legislative bodies in the world.
It is my honor to accept the nomination.
Organization Day was held outside to help mitigate the potential spread of COVID-19. Hinch had been facing questions about cases of the virus that arose within the Republican caucus after a mass gathering in Manchester last month, and his plans to try to return to in-person committee work and House sessions next year. While the Speaker was not one to shy away from partisan battles, he was much better known for being affable and approachable, a style that was one of the hallmarks of his leadership.
He understood relationships and maximized those relationships in order to try to get things done. He was a good man, and he'll be deeply missed.
New Hampshire House Speaker Dick Hinch was 71 years old. In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
And more reaction tonight now from Governor Sununu, who said in a statement, quote, Speaker Hinch was a fierce defender of the New Hampshire advantage, a close friend, and a respected public servant. His loss will be greatly felt by the people of this state.
And from Senator Maggie Hassan, I had the opportunity to work with him closely when I was governor, including working together to enact a landmark settlement to improve mental health services and to increase funding for combating substance misuse. Speaker Hinch was deeply committed to his service, and I'm grateful for all he gave to our state and our country.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And our thoughts and prayers go to Dick Hinch's family, co-workers, and colleagues. Some New Hampshire restaurants decide to close for winter. Owners hoping to reemerge in stable in spring. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Here's a little holiday riddle. What's better than getting one gift? Getting an entire stocking's worth of gifts. $1 merry money, $2.
Kath Gallant has owned the Blue Moon Evolution restaurant in downtown Exeter for more than 2 decades.
I think the last 6 months of working have been the most challenging in our 25 years.
Because of COVID-19, she's made the decision to close until April.
I was what they call bleeding out in the last 6 weeks, where I just could not get a foothold, and my expenses were more than my income.
Her employees will be furloughed. Many will receive unemployment.
The hope is for the whole team that my crew can come back to a stable business come spring.
The New Hampshire Lodging and Restaurant Association says other restaurants are in the same situation.
A lot of downward pressures here. Sales are off for a lot of folks. Finding enough staff to keep operations going, even at limited capacities, has become challenging, depending on the area of the state that you're in.
The owner of this cafe in Nashua is being faced with those challenges right now and is closing her doors until March, a decision she did not take lightly.
And the whole reason I chose to do it was just so I can come out on the other side of this pandemic.
Owner Terry Wade says her cafe is small and she worried about the safety of her customers and staff.
As bad as I felt to lay them off during this time, during Christmas, I think they felt as bad for me because they see what's going on. They're all part of it. But I know the bigger guys are hurting too. They're used to doing Christmas parties and things like that, and all that's going by the wayside this year. So we're all in trouble.
Christine Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. A 22-year-old seriously injured after ice falls from a box truck in Londonderry. Non-life-threatening injuries. Take a look at this photo right here. This is the damaged car, as you can see. The box truck ice came off of it and smashed into the car. Around 1:30 p.m. yesterday in Londonderry, police responded to Route 102 in the area of Young Road after receiving a report that a vehicle had been hit by ice that had come off of a box truck. Officers arrived and found the driver, a 22-year-old man from Londonderry, with several facial injuries. Fire officials and paramedics transported the man to an area hospital where officials said he is being treated for serious but non-life-threatening injuries. One of his eyes was significantly injured by the ice and broken glass from the windshield. The driver of the truck returned to the scene and is cooperating with police. Officials reminded the public the importance of Jessica's Law in cleaning your vehicle of ice and snow. FDA Advisory Committee meeting for independent review of Pfizer Vaccine. Senator Hassan took part in bipartisan efforts. They will be meeting today. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
This year, I got the most unique gift for the holidays. My wife gave me a full year of
FDA Authorization Committee will meet to determine whether the Pfizer vaccine is safe and effective for use in the U.S. Senator Maggie Hassan worked across the aisle on legislation that mandates an independent review of the clinical trial data prior to authorizing any vaccine for distribution here. Hassan says transparency in the process is critical.
That's what this meeting on Thursday is all about. It will be a public and transparent meeting of these independent experts who've been given all of the clinical trial data for the Pfizer vaccine. The science at the core of this has been years in the making. So I don't want people to think that all of this science also happened in the last year.
Now, if the vaccine is approved, distribution is expected to begin within 24 to 48 hours. And Moderna is also hoping to get approval for its vaccine in the coming days. That drug is being made in partnership with Portsmouth's Lonza Biologics. Moderna expects to have 20 million doses available in the U.S. by the end of this month.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Officials in Nashville consider possibly nightly 9:30 p.m. curfew. Health officials urge for safety and business owners push back. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
data shows Nashua has 393 active cases of COVID-19 with a test positivity rate of 11.1%. The city says that's a 5% jump from last week. Now city health officials are considering the potential of a 9:30 p.m. curfew. They argue the curfew and restrictions in Massachusetts will drive people north.
We do need to do something to protect the vulnerable populations in our community. Nashville is right on the border of Massachusetts, and so when things shut down in Massachusetts, we do see an increase in activities in our state.
This afternoon, Nashua's Board of Health weighed the pros and cons of a curfew and gave people a chance to speak. Those from the business community say it would not be fair to tell them to close nightly at 9:30. Restaurant and bar owners say they're not the problem, but they felt targeted by the restrictions.
I just think they're going to go and hurt my employees and hurt people who are trying to make a living, and we need that to happen. The economy is so important.
COVID doesn't stop spreading or start spreading at 9:30 p.m. Restaurants in general, and I'm speaking for myself, have done the best job we can.
Health officials say it's important to be proactive now to reduce the spread and prevent hospitals from getting overwhelmed.
We're trying to reduce the number of people that get COVID because some people, even young people, have permanent heart damage, permanent brain damage, or die.
Nashua's Board of Health will soon make a recommendation to city aldermen who will ultimately make the final decision. Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Healthcare workers rally morale as preparations begin for patient vaccinations. Healthcare officials warn of longer winter. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Nicole Lally.
Chapel Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Curly and our grandfather George decided to sell tractors out of their barn.
12,675 doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine expected to hit the ground in the Granite State next week.
This vaccine is going to go to our hospitals for their high-risk health workers and our long-term care facilities.
Phase 1A of the plan puts the highest-risk people at the front of the line. Long-term care facilities will take priority. The cases out of these facilities have amounted for the majority of COVID-related deaths in the state. Health Commissioner Lori Chibanette says the vaccine can't come fast enough.
I have that same feeling of dread today that I've had, previously as I watch our numbers tick up.
But keeping morale high is especially important right now.
We are conjuring up that last bit of fight to get through vaccination and hopefully get on the other side of this in early spring.
A lot of work will be done to push out the vaccine in the fastest and safest way.
We are meeting very regularly with the pharmacies to understand their plan for New Hampshire. What does that mean so if they can begin operating December 21st? What exactly is that going to look like? How many facilities are they planning to do each week?
There's also a big effort underway to educate and encourage as many people as possible to get the vaccine.
We are very actively preparing materials based on the preliminary information we've received, and I do trust that you're going to be, inundated as a negative thing, but you're going to get a lot of information in really even the days and weeks to come.
And Pfizer is the first vaccine expected to be approved. Moderna will go through a similar process next week and could be shipped and administered before Christmas as well. While those initial doses may seem like a low number, health officials are expecting weekly allocations to increase rather quickly. Reporting live, I'm Nicole Lally, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. How to help the 2020 Spirit of Giving food drive. Donate December 11th through the 13th. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Quickly, remove it just as quickly with Kubota subcompact and compact tractors. Our #1 selling tractors are built to take on wind.
And right now, about 1 out of every 7 Granite Staters do not know when or where their next meal will come from. And you can help by supporting our Spirit of Giving food drive. Just look for the displays at your local Hannaford, Shaw's, or Walmart and make a donation when you check out. The money will be turned into meals for those who need it most. The food bank works with over 400 agencies around the state, providing about half of the food they distribute. And a reminder that WMUR is teaming with the Red Cross to help boost blood donations this holiday season. Go to WMUR.com/bloodneed2020 to sign up for an appointment at any of the blood drives happening this month across the state.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And thank you for joining us for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.